I'm bored. Let's talk about Star Wars and the Critical Drinker. All right, fam. So unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you're familiar with the ad that came out for the Super Bowl for the Mandalorian and Grogu, and it set the internet on fire. People were losing their minds. They were freaking out because they're like, this isn't what we deserved. We deserve more than this. We're entitled, and you have to do exactly what we want you to do, no matter what. We're Star Wars fans. That's what a lot of people were doing. It was very babyish, very immature. Essentially what it was is it was a TV spot that wasn't a teaser. It wasn't a trailer. I was a little confused when I watched it at first, only because I'm like, what am I getting? What's happening here? But Jon Favreau directed this 30-second love letter to classic Super Bowl commercials. Only this time the truck and the beer are replaced by a Mandalorian and Grogu. And even during my live stream when I watched this, I knew right away what they were trying to do. I'm just like, what does this have to do with the movie? Is this in the movie? And then I realized, no, this isn't in the movie. This is literally just an ad to get people aware of like the Mandalorian and Grogu, because they're promoting to a group of people that aren't familiar with the show. People that watch the show, they're going to go out and see the movie anyway. It's already a locked-in thing. What they're trying to do now is get attention and eyes on these characters from people that may not be familiar with the show. That's the entire point of this advertising campaign. Well, Critical Drinker made a video about this. It's a very short video. We're going to watch it together, and I want to hear what he has to say, because typically his takes on this are pretty fucking stupid.
You know, if you ever think you're having a bad day, a bad week, or even a bad year, when nothing you do seems to work out right and every decision just seems to make things worse, well, just remind yourself, at least you're not working on the Mandalorian movie. Damn, man, I don't think I've seen any IP squander opportunities and decimate fan goodwill quite like...
I wish you'd stop using the same joking. Like, find new joke clips, please. Please. Like, it's already bad enough that I have to sit through these fucking videos, but find new clips to put in there. Like, your editor should find something new. It's the same clips over and over and over again. I'm sure we're going to see them throughout this video. Will Ferrell and people screaming. It's the same clips over and over again.
Like this, from the surprise hit of Season 1 that delivered a refreshingly stripped back and simplistic story that felt like some vague recreation of the Star Wars magic, which was still 1,000 times better than anything the sequel trilogy ever accomplished, to the second season that built on its success and took the first steps into a bigger world, to the third and hopefully final season that promptly shit the bed, overstayed its welcome, undid most of the major events of the previous season, and turned the protagonist into a useless background character.
Okay, so I think we need to unpack this, and this goes out to everybody out there who still supports these idiots, these liars, these grifters, these scammers that are hogging up your time with outrage content. You are following them to the death of everything you love. And what I mean by that is, he says here in this video that he liked seasons 1 and 2. He didn't like season 3, and therefore it should all die. It needs to go away because he doesn't believe the movie's going to be good. So there's no return to the glory days. There's no return to anything that he loved. It's all over. It's dead. RIP. This is the way they talk about most of the stuff they love from their childhood. So what you're doing is you're following channels that are literally leading you to the grave. They're telling you that all of this stuff is over, it's done, it's dead, bury it. And instead of walking away from it, you guys log in every day and continue to consume this stuff and think that it's making a difference. What difference is it making? You think it's making a difference. What change are we going for here? What's happening here? So because it's not what you love anymore, no one else can have it. That's essentially what you're doing. You're saying, because I don't like it anymore, I get to decide when it's over and when it ends, and no one else that might be enjoying this media gets to enjoy it. That's a level of entitlement that I can't even unpack in my mind. And the fact is, you guys are just aimlessly, blindly being led to the end of all of this by these guys who are telling you that it's not good anymore and therefore it should die. No redemption, no change, no return to glory.
Own show. True to form, Lucasfilm had managed to fuck up the one and only successful Star Wars show that they'd fallen ass backwards into in the first place.
Great plan.
Thank you.
You like your plan, Chief?
So what do you do with a TV show that had
Ferrell.
one brief moment of success before pissing off most of its fan base and vanishing back into obscurity? That's right, you punt it out into movie theaters with a big budget film adaptation that relies not just...
So this is actually a much smaller budget than most of the movies out there. I think it's like 160 million, which is about 40 million less than most of the larger budget films and almost 100 million less than the really big movies. Now, 160 million isn't something to sneeze at. It is a lot of money, but it's not at that level where they're making, like, he's not telling you what it is because he's just saying big budget and leaving it at that, even though it's almost 100 million less than most of the modern films that have been coming out. But he's not going to tell you that because that would be, it would break the narrative that he's painting here.
Fan support, but mainstream cultural awareness to stand any chance of turning a profit. And you do it at a time when there hasn't been a Star Wars movie of any kind in more than 6 years. The brand itself is arguably at its lowest creative and commercial ebb since the early 1990s, and the
arguably is doing heavy lifting there. That word is lifting all of it up.
rest of the world has kind of moved on now.
That doesn't make sense.
Fucking genius. Still, let it not be said that the drinker is one to embrace failure. There is a path to success for this kind of thing, a narrow one to be sure, and fraught with difficulties, but a path all the same.
Okay, so I'm very curious what he's going to say. Because, again, according to these guys, Star Wars is dead. Disney is dead. This is their words, not mine. It's their words. So if it's dead, what does a path to redemption look like? Or are we resurrecting like Jesus Christ? Like what does that resurrection look like? What are we talking about? It's slop content. It's so utterly lazy and reductive and nonsensical. I don't understand how anybody watches this unironically. I don't understand.
The normies might not know or care much about The Mandalorian and his little green marketing product, and Star Wars fans themselves might have been turned away from it by now, but a truly kick-ass marketing campaign just might win them over. And
okay, so I want to bookmark this. He's not saying that the movie is inherently bad here. He's saying it's the marketing campaign. That's interesting, because he's saying that with better marketing, the movie would perform well. So he's not, at least in this moment, he's not putting his finger on the "this is going to be shit" button yet. But he might get there in this video. But that's not what he's arguing. He's arguing here that the advertising campaign, the marketing campaign, is what's important here, and that it's not the quality of the movie. I don't know how you could argue that. I don't know how that's even... Fundamentally, that doesn't make sense to me. If the movie's good, then word of mouth will help the movie out in theaters. Marketing alone is only going to front load the movie. And if the movie is shit, like if it's not a good movie, then that front loaded marketing isn't going to help it in weeks 2 and 3 and 4. So I don't, anyway, let's hear what he has to say. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's hear what he has to say.
Generate some desperately needed momentum. I'm talking kick-ass action set pieces, the highest stakes imaginable, incredible character moments, superbly crafted dialogue, an epic galaxy-spanning adventure that'll fire the imagination and...
Well, it's not going to be the highest stakes imaginable because it's Mandalorian and Grogu. So, what kind of, like, I don't want, like, if we're talking about what we want, I don't want it to be, like, universe-ending stakes. Like, I just need the story to be good. That's it. That's all I need.
Reshape the very foundation of the Star Wars universe.
No. So you're putting a lot of weight on Mandalorian and Grogu to reshape the Star Wars universe. I don't think that's even possible, especially not what you're asking for, because these characters do not directly tie into any of the stuff that you guys say you want. So I don't know how that's possible, but let's continue. Dr. Evil.
You know, if the
same fucking clips every time
could be represented visually, then this would probably be it. I don't know what anyone was expected to take from this first trailer, but it certainly wasn't excitement or anticipation or, well, anything that suggests this is more than just an extended episode of the TV show.
Except they're not advertising to people that watch the TV show, you dumbass. That's not the ad. The ad is for people that may not be familiar with the TV show. What's happening here is our marketing department is already taking into account that the people that watch the show, the ones that are really interested in this, are going to come out and see the movie. So a big chunk of that is like, we already know they're going to see it, put that in the background. What they're trying to do is they're trying to entice people who have never watched the show or have no idea about any of the story behind these characters and give them sort of an advertisement of what the vibe and the tone and the feel of this movie is going to be. That's what these ads are doing. Now, I'm not saying you have to like them. I'm not saying that you have to think it's the greatest ad campaign on the face of the earth of all time. I'm not saying that. That would be really fucking stupid to say that. What I'm saying is that you, as someone who has already watched the show, are expecting the ads to reflect things from previous parts of the show, where you've already admitted that you didn't like season 3. So why you would want them to advertise the most recent stuff that happened on the show in this teaser trailer thing, why you would want that, I don't know. It seems to me like you'd want a reset of that. You want something different, which is what they're trying to do. But I digress. Let's continue.
But okay, fine, the first trailer wasn't a big hit. There's still other opportunities to score a big PR win, like the Super Bowl, for example. That annual gathering where Americans get together to drink lots of beer, eat shitty food, and yell at their TV screens for a couple of hours. Go sports team! It's become a prime spot to drop trailers and promos for big upcoming movies this year, and Disney clearly decided that this was their chance to drum up some support for their Star Wars film. Now, keep in mind, dear viewer, these Super Bowl ad spots are expensive as fuck and very time sensitive.
Okay, so that's really funny. You guys keep saying that Marvel, Star Wars, Disney are all broke. They have no money. You've been saying it for over a decade now. Most of you have. Yet somehow they're still spending tons of money coming from some imaginary money tree somewhere. I mean, is it get woke, go broke? You guys have stopped saying that. And I think you have because you know it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody really cares about it anymore. But yeah, they spent money on the ad, and it's a lot of money. It's the Super Bowl. We already know that. Well, let's see what else you got.
You've only got like 30 seconds max to make an impression, and your audience is probably drunk by this point, so you need to go all in with this shit. Hit them with everything you've got. Really sell them on how exciting and epic and unmissable this film's gonna be. Like, these guys are gonna be fucking losers if they don't see this film on opening night in IMAX 4D with a novelty popcorn bucket shaped like Grogu's rectum or something. Go for it. Show us what you've got.
Sometimes we choose our path. Other times the path chooses us.
You sure about that?
The bond just gets harder to break. This is the way.
You sure about that?
That's it. I'm calling it. It's done. Pack up your gear and head home, boys. This movie is fucking cooked.
Just say you don't understand what they're doing. Just say that. Just say you don't understand they're pulling on nostalgia from classic beer commercials to advertise Mandalorian and Grogu to an audience that may not know enough about the show for them to even do a 30-second clip that would matter at the Super Bowl. They decided to, and by the way, people have been talking about this ad longer than any of the other ads in the Super Bowl. I haven't heard anyone talking about any of the other ads. The one thing you want with a Super Bowl ad is to be memorable. Whether people love it or hate it, you just need to be memorable. And here we are. We're still a week almost a week since the Super Bowl came out. It's the Friday of the week of the Super Bowl. We're here at the end of the week, and people are still talking about this ad. It's still being talked about on social media. I see people still tweeting about it. I see videos about it still popping up. They did something right because people are still talking about it. And that was the point. They wanted it to get out there. They wanted people to remember it. They wanted people to talk about it. And if that's the case, they're the only memorable ad that anybody's even speaking about, then I would say it was money well spent.
Whatever advertising department you used to bring this trailer together, you need to fire them, Lucasfilm, and blacklist them from ever working in the industry again, because you just blew like $10 million for fucking nothing. Not only did almost half the audience actively dislike this trailer,
I want to point out the dislike, Jesus fucking Christ, I have to do this every time. Disclaimer time! The dislike button on YouTube is not real. It's not a real thing. It is a cope thing for these guys to use. The API that YouTube used to use and give out for their like-dislike stuff has not worked since 2021. The metrics that you see, the dislike buttons, are different for every single one of those add-ons. They're never the same. They also are different from the metrics that you see in the back end of your studio as a content creator. I hate that I have to say this every time because it's just a flash on the screen, but it's subliminal, and I think it needs to be called out. The dislike button is not a real thing. This is why they don't harp on it, because they know it's not a real thing. Let's continue.
but people didn't even understand what the hell it was trying to be. The situation got so bad that the Lucasfilm marketing director had to literally explain the point of the whole thing. Our creative and marketing team landed on a unique concept that gave a nod to classic big game spots of years past.
Yes.
It captured the warmth, humor, and emotional connection between these two beloved characters and was the perfect next step for our campaign as we lead up to their big screen debut this summer.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure you're going to make some snarky, jokey comment after this, But this had to be spelled out because the people out here complaining, the ones on the internet like yourself, seem to be either purposely pretending like you don't know what this is, or you are too stupid and media illiterate to know what it is. That's why they had to do this. As I was watching it for the first time Monday of this past week, I immediately knew what they were referencing. And I am a Gen Xer. I'm an older man. So I knew exactly what they were doing. And anybody in my age demographic that actually paid attention to media back in the 80s would have known what they were doing. So if you didn't get it, congratulations, you're telling on yourself.
You serious?
Bro, just stop. Sometimes in life you have to learn to take the L, and this is definitely one such time. All of these fumbles and missteps are contributing to an atmosphere of complete and total apathy around this film. Nobody even seems to care about it, and who can blame them? It's like the film doesn't even care about itself.
If no one cared about it, you wouldn't be talking about it. When I looked at this video, it was almost 800,000 views on it. One of the better videos for Critical Drinker over this past, month or so. So it's doing well, right? It's doing well for him. It's doing that because this is the only ad that they use that people still give a fuck about from the Super Bowl. It's the only one. So you mean to tell me that all of the other ones that no one is talking about anymore, those were successful. But this one is unsuccessful because people are still talking about it almost a week later. All right.
Like it can't really be bothered with the story it's trying to tell. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why Lucasfilm are so apathetic about this one. Based on the marketing alone, it feels like a movie made out of obligation to fill a release slot by a studio that's all out of ideas and creative energy instead of the spearhead for a major comeback attempts. I mean, this is your first Star Wars feature film in more than half a decade. In fact, let's not kid ourselves here, it's basically a Hail Mary pass in the dying seconds of the game.
So do you think the movie's going to be bad? A second ago, I knew he was going to do this. I knew it. A second ago, you were arguing that this movie would probably do well for them if they did better marketing. That's your argument. So if your argument is the movie's a diamond in the rough and it could probably do good, it just needs better marketing, then why on earth would you act like it's going to be a Hail Mary pass for Star Wars? Do you not have faith in it? Is it a bad movie? If it's a bad movie, then the marketing doesn't fucking matter. Why would you demand that they do better marketing for a movie if you think the movie is a Hail Mary and it's not going to be good? That doesn't, I'm telling you guys, fam, it doesn't make sense. These arguments don't make sense. Do you personally have faith in the movie? Critical Drinker, do you have faith in it? If you do, then arguing for better marketing is done out of passion because you want the movie to do well because you have faith in it. If you think the movie is going to be shit and you're still arguing about the way they're doing advertising and saying that advertising is the problem, then all this is a big game of concern trolling. It's just you concern trolling. If it's bad, who gives a fuck about the marketing?
Final chance to tie the score before it's all over, and it's been treated more like just another forgettable TV show rollout. I mean, do they know something we don't? Do they know that the film sucks and it's got almost...
By the way, it's a 6-minute, 47-second video, and you've already used Will Ferrell like 3 or 4 times. The same clip. Critical Drinkers, this is lazy editing. All you're doing is putting clips together. And you can't find different ones? It's the only ones you have?
No chance at the box office, so why throw good money after bad? I don't fucking know. All I know is that if your goal here is to make Star Wars relevant again and win back at least a portion of your old audience, this ain't it. God only knows what they're going to try next, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be a big hit. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Okay, so this was 6 minutes and 47 seconds of nothing. It's just you saying nothing for 6 minutes and 47 seconds. You are upset that you think that they failed at marketing a movie that you don't think is going to be good, which is concern trolling 101. But then this is the only ad that people are still talking about. So ask yourselves, does that mean it's a failure? What other ads played during the Super Bowl that people are still talking about right now? What other trailers that people are still talking about right now? I can't think of any of them. I can't think of a single one that I still see people going on and on about on social media. This is the only one. So I would say give the marketing team a raise because they did something that got people talking. And in an era where engagement is the number one most valuable currency, They did the right thing. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, whatever it means, they did the right thing. Had they put an actual teaser out, a 30-second teaser that included footage that we've already seen with maybe a couple of tiny quick blurps of other scenes, nobody would be talking about this right now. Nobody would. But a lot of people are still talking about this ode to beer ad that they did. So they did something right. I am so tired of this lazy concern trolling content, lazily edited, a bad script for him, complaining about dumb stuff, contradicting himself in this video. If you are still a fan of this kind of garbage content, then please seek some form of therapy or help